Hello everybody, so if you're familiar with my Gravekeeper decks, this might not look all too strange. If you're not, I'm sure this looks very weird. I've not uploaded in a long time. I've actually just recently gotten a new microphone, so my old one wasn't working very well, wasn't letting me record for more than like a minute, so that's why I haven't really been able to upload anything. Also, I've just not really been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But with this 2014 festival, I very much have. I've been having a lot of fun playing Gravekeeper in this event, and I've kind of arrived at this pile deck. So the Gravekeeper part of it, absolutely standard. Nothing particularly interesting going on there. Now, as far as the pile, I am playing a tour guide package that gets me into Desric Archfiend, because Desric Archfiend is a light for BLS, also a light for Koga. I've got a whole video on what can Koga do for you, which is when I figured out that I should be playing Koga in Gravekeeper, because I'm already playing the Mass Change second, right? So I should be playing Koga, I should be playing Dian alongside Darklaw, because there's so many times when you can just go into these and close games. I'm also playing this very small Shadow Mist package, where I'm just playing Shadow Mist with Hero Lives to get me into Mass Change, which is really great when you're just opening the game, slapping down Hero Lives, you've got Darklaw. Or if what happened in the most recent game that I played was that I had made Heartline Draco, my opponent hit it with Evac, and then I had Hero Lives as follow-up. If you're confused about the Chaos stuff, then you've not seen my deck profiles on Chaos Gravekeepers. I have played Chaos Macro Dinosaur Gravekeepers before, which sounds like it shouldn't work, and it did. If this were to be like a permanent game mode, I would absolutely do more of that Dino Gravekeeper gameplay. That would be a lot of fun. The macro stuff, that is not fun. That's just not fun. I wouldn't be doing that again. Chaos, though, if your opponent's not removing the Necro Valley, you can just set a new Necro Valley over it. You've pretty much always got access to that. Whatever. Scrap Iron's been treating me very well in this event, even though I wouldn't have been playing it during the time period. That's pretty much it. Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on here. It's pretty standard as far as my Gravekeeper lists go. I always play the Visionary. It's important for playing around Mirror Forces, for playing around Torrential, and for getting over monsters that are just too big, which there are a lot of. It's important to be able to go into Visionary to get over Dark Laws, as well as just big monsters. If your opponent throws down a monster with 3,000, there's a lot of big dragons in this format. Visionary is important for getting over those. But also just the protection effect is so unexpected, and it makes Needle Sealing live while you're being aggressive as well. This whole deck is like built to be aggressive, built to close out games. I've talked about how to close games in Gravekeepers plenty of times, but the win condition of the Gravekeeper deck at standard is just attack 4 times, make Cowboy, detach, and that's game. Because under Necro Valley, Assailant and Descendant are 2,000, Commandant's 21, a Spy is 1,700, and so is Recruiter. So if you're attacking 4 times, your opponent is low enough that they are in Cowboy range. And then I've got the follow-up stuff. You know, I often am liking to go flip Spy, summon a monster, see what happens, you know, if there's a response window or not, in Master Duel anyway. And then I can summon Tour Guide, go into a rank 3, or maybe I go to battle, attack with Spy and the summoned monster, which is, in that case, if I'm being careful, Recruiter. Attack with them, see what happens. If my opponent Mirror Forces me, cool. Summon Tour Guide in main 2. Same thing with Shadow Mist, as is the norm for pile decks. It's just providing me with an extra extension. extra stuff that I can do, and extra ways to interact with my opponent, extra ways to close out the game. Closing games. You're flipping spy, you're summoning a monster, you're normal summoning a monster, you're going to battle, hitting your opponent, activating Mass Change 2, summoning Dark Law, hitting your opponent, going to main 2, Cowboy. That's one of the ways to close games very, very quickly. It's also, during this time period, very reasonable to close games over the course of like 2 or 3 turns, which is often what's happening. Although I very much like to OTK in Gravekeeper, it doesn't always happen that way. The extra deck is also built around just closing the game out very quick. Scrap Irons, I've only been playing Scrap Iron during this event, did not play that historically. It's been working out in this event, which is interesting because when I tried to play it in the past, it didn't work. I play all 3 of these heroes. I've got a video called What Can Koga Do For You, where I talk about playing Koga in Gravekeeper or just any other deck that's got that wouldn't normally play it, because you have Veiler, you've got other lights that you can play during this time as well. You can play light tuners and whatnot, depending on what deck build you're going for. Dion lets you summon the Shadow Mist from deck and get into Dark Claw during the battle phase, get lots of attacks into, because what you can do in Gravekeeper, let's say you've got Commandant, let's say you've got Commandant, you've got Mass Change 2nd, and you've got a card in hand. Your opponent's got a monster set, or your opponent has 2 monster set, let's say. You can attack with the Commandant for 21, because you're under Necrobelly. Then you Mass Change 2nd into Dion, attack with Dion, attack over their monster, special Shadow Mist. And then you've got the Shadow Mist, which you can turn into Dark Claw and hit them with that, so that's very important for that damage that lets you in the game. Now I'm playing both Submersible Carrier Arrow Shark and Cowboy, because you are putting your opponent at such low life totals after attacking that you really can just end games like this. Fortune Tune is to make sure that doesn't happen to me. Levair, of course, same way it was used historically, competitively. You're just detaching, you're making this with Tour Guide, detaching material, summoning one of your 3s, usually it's going to be Recruiter that's gotten banished off of a Dark Law, hitting with the Levair and the Tour Guide, going main 2, turning the Levair into Downer Magician, and passing. It's just more damage. But also it can get, as I said, it can get you into the Recruiter that's been banished, so you can actually get back into Necker Valley if you've got a Descendant to summon at that point in time. So it can just kind of get you back into your strategy, but also close out games. Zen mains and Alucard are what I make the most of just anything in the entire extra, aside from Dark Law. I think I would say I make these 3 cards pretty similar amounts. I would say in the order of Zen mains, Dark Law, Alucard is what I make the most, and then of course Cowboy for closing games, but I'm talking about like in the game utility when I'm making it, because everything is for closing the game. So this is normal. Heartlane Draco, your opponent can't attack it while you have Necrobelly up, and it can attack directly, so it's very good even if you don't have Necrobelly up. Very good for playing around if your opponent might have a set Call of the Haunted to prevent you from ending the game. Ragnazero gets rid of stuff that's attack modified, which is not as good in this build as it is in Modern, because you can play Clockwork Knight in Modern. But for this Time Wizard here, there are some people playing attack modification stuff. I've been seeing Burden of the Mighty. I was playing Burden of the Mighty in here, actually, when I put Ragnazero in. I've cut it at this point because I didn't find it necessary. But you can absolutely be playing 1 or 2 Burden of the Mighty in here. Nothing wrong with that, I would say, at this point in time. Anyway, that is the deck. That's the list. I've been playing this, having a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and show you my match history here for this event. Yeah. So these are the games that I played in the current build. I changed it after this game here. And yeah, so that's, and I was playing hero up until like about here. So ignore those games, but yeah, 2 losses out of all this, pretty much. It's been working out very well. I've been having a lot of fun playing Gravekeeper again. It's been a long time, and yeah, so again, I'll just say, standard Gravekeeper deck, aside from the pile stuff, the goal is to close the game as quickly as possible. It is not to play it as a stun deck. No, I'm not playing Royal Tribute. I never play Royal Tribute. That card sucks. It is entirely luck-based. It's not fun. You'll see it in opening hands instead of Necker Valley and lose the game because of it, and that's awful. I don't play Royal Tribute. You don't need to. You've got enough utility otherwise to just do 1-for-1 trades, 1-for-2 or 1-for-3 trades when people are going for Xyz monsters against you. As long as you can time your usage of your effects properly, you can just deal with what your opponent's doing. You don't need Royal Tribute. It's a win more card. Stop playing it.